I went on Amazon and I found the cheapest video light that I could find. It's this little light bulb together with this softbox and stand, all for only $50. And I want to see, how does that compare to a real video light on a real stand and a real softbox? So a couple weeks ago, NEEWER reached out to me and asked me if I would review one of their lights. And I said, send me your most popular light for content creators, the one that you would recommend. And they sent me the NEEWER CB200C. They also sent me this fantastic C-stand as well as a great softbox. The NEEWER lighting company is known for two things. First, the inability to spell the word NEEWER. And second, high-quality products at a low price. So in this video, I'm going to compare this $50 light kit with this one, which costs about 10 times as much. Oh, and at the end of this video, I have a third light that you may want to consider. Now, this comparison might not seem fair at all. And you know what? It's not. Everything about this light, this stand, and this softbox are better than this. But the reason I'm doing this comparison is to do a couple of things. One, show you the great features of this light, but also separate which of these features are really going to show up in your camera and which are just simply more convenient. Let's look at the bulb. Well, it's mostly plastic. It does have some aluminum around here for a heat sink, but this is plastic, and yeah, it's pretty cheaply made. In contrast, this is mostly metal. There's a few plastic parts on here, but this is metal. This is all metal. The yoke is nice. Metal, yeah. And the spigot here as well, metal. Now the Skytex bulb kit, well, it just fits right into this nice little softbox, which actually collapses quite easily. The whole thing collapses down pretty small. The spigot here just sits attached to the softbox, and it adjusts in this direction only. And it opens pretty much like an umbrella. The softbox kind of lays over like that, and there's a little Velcro that keeps it on. Oh, and this is a nice touch. It also has a remote control that works with line of sight, and you can turn it on. You can change it to a warmer light or a cooler light, and you can also dim it down, as well as there's some presets for 20%, 50%, and 100%. And by dimming the light all the way down, well, you can see one of its first problems. That is, there's a hot spot in the middle. It's not actually taking the light and diffusing it out over the entire softbox. And that's probably going to affect your image. Well, we're going to find out in a little bit when we compare what these two look like on the face. The NEEWER softbox is better in every way. First, it comes with this nice egg crate here that just velcros on the side. The egg crate is great because you can control the light and get it to hit just where you want it. It also has two levels of baffles back here. And as we're going to see in a minute, this means that you don't get that huge hot spot. The NEEWER light is controlled by the NEEWER app, and this gives you a lot more control over this light. But let's get it all the way down, though, to 1%. And we can see that, yeah, in this softbox, there are no hot spots. You get a lot more control here in the app. So I can go all the way down to a very, very warm light, all the way to a very cool light, or anything in between. Lots of variations. Now the Skytex comes with an adjustable stand. It's small and flimsy, and yeah, it's not great, but you know what? It does the job. In contrast, NEEWER sent me a professional C-stand. Oh, and I asked for a small stand for NEEWER because I already had one of their regular size C-stands. This thing has been a tank for me. It is just great, and I love it. That's why I asked for a smaller one. So this little guy will go a lot shorter, but it also goes all the way up to 6 feet tall, and it also has the extension on it. Of course, that one does too, but yeah, this allows you to go up even higher or to boom across. Yeah, this is a great stand. All right, now let's compare the brightness. I'll turn on the Skytex, and we'll turn that on a warm light, and we'll turn that to 100%. And that's as bright as it gets. All right, the NEEWER is set to 1% brightness. Let's turn that up to 10%. Yeah, this is a lot brighter because now if we get to like 50% or 100%, yeah, there's a lot of power in a more powerful light. Huh, who knew? And this is a good time to show off the fact that the NEEWER light has all kinds of color options. Yeah, because it has a number of diodes in it, red, green, blue, and 2 types of white. That means you can just pretty much dial in any color that you would like. This makes this light a much more versatile light. Now, before we get into a comparison of what these look like as a key light, I want to go over some of the really cool features of this NEEWER light. Some of the things about the NEEWER light are things that aren't going to really show up in your work, but just make life a lot easier. Like this screen back here, where it's easy to just simply dial in exactly what you want. You just press this button and get to what you want, and then you can dial the color temperature or whatever right here on the screen. This is fantastic. It's a lot faster than getting out the app, although I do love the app. You can adjust the fan so that it's completely off, which lowers the wattage of your light, or you can set it up to be automatic, or you can just set it up to high if you think it's going to be on super bright and you want to be able to take out the noise easily in post. It also has this button that you can use to actually lock the screen so that nobody can make changes to the back so it doesn't get bumped. Yeah, nice feature. But now for the big test. Does a light that costs 10 times as much, that's sturdier and brighter and does full color and all of those things, does it actually make a difference in your video? Well, I've set up the NEEWER light here in the Softbox, and this is what it looks like. I do have a background light on here, and I couldn't resist. I put a little kicker light here off to the side as well. Here, let me turn that off. Oh, and by the way, this NEEWER light is only on at 17%. So that has another question. Do I really need a light that's that bright? Well, you are going to want a light that's really bright if you're going to be competing with sunlight. But if you're in a darkened room like this, well, you're not going to need very much light. Okay, so here's the Skytex. Let's put them side by side and see if you can notice a difference. Is there a difference in the shadows of my face? Can you really see that one of them has a bright spot and the other one doesn't? Oh, and here again, I don't have the Skytex up all the way to its brightest. I think it's somewhere under 50%. I can't really tell because you don't get precise measurements with this light, and it's really hard to dial in. So I hit 50% here, and then I backed it off a little bit. But maybe what would it look like with a little brighter light? Well, let's see what that looks like. Is that too bright? It seems a little harsh. Again, we can go with a cooler light or a warmer light. We've got lots of options here. Okay, whoa, I did not realize that the Skytex bulb was going to be this crappy. I thought it'd be a little bit crappy, then I'd be able to fix it up a little bit in post. I don't know of any way that I can fix this. Maybe in the hands of a master colorist, they could get something out of this, but if you're a master colorist, you're not going to be putting up with a bulb like this anyway. So, yeah, this is a definite don't buy for me. So does that mean that you have to spend $300 or $400 on a nice video light in order to get a good key light on your face? Well, maybe yes, and maybe no. I'm going to try one more thing, because I found out that NEEWER makes a little kit very similar to the Skytex that costs about $20 more. So I ordered it on Amazon, and it came in. This little kit from NEEWER seems very similar to the Skytex. It's almost as if one company copied another one. Yeah. The kit comes with a similar little flimsy stand and a plastic little mount here, although this cord is a lot thicker. The dimensions are pretty similar, but not identical. And the softbox itself, it's got that umbrella design. Again, very similar. All right, so here's the little NEEWER kit. Yeah, I can already tell by looking at the monitor that this is probably going to work. So let's compare it now with the CB200C and see if we can tell a difference. Now, I can tell by looking at the light that there is a little hot spot in the middle, so we haven't really solved that problem, but we've solved the color problem, I think. And if we haven't, well, this little app right here will give us a lot of control. I'm not trying to match these two lights. If I wanted to do that, I have some control over that. I could try to make this a little cooler or a little warmer until I saw something that matched, but I don't have them both up, so I can't really do that. Let's just get it to 50, let's say 5600 degrees Kelvin, and we'll keep it there. It also has a green and magenta shift. Here, I'll over-exaggerate. I can put a lot of green into it, or I can put a lot of magenta into it, or I could dial in just a little bit more, let's say magenta into the light, just like that, if I wanted to. Let's get that back to 0. Yeah, that's where it's supposed to be. Oh, and another advantage of this little NEEWER kit is that we can do all kinds of effects like cup car, or let's see, candle, or hue. In fact, you get the same 12 effects that you get with the larger NEEWER light. Yeah, a nice perk. So what have we learned? Well, I've learned a couple of things. First, I've learned that buying the cheapest light out there isn't going to be able to give you the results that you want. But I've also learned that NEEWER has a full line of lights that will give you what you want, from the tiniest little small light all the way up to something really nice and professional like this one. Now, NEEWER does have a lot of competition in a 200-watt light that gives out good quality light. but it has a few things over many of them. One of them is this. It doesn't have a little power brick that hangs off the side. It's actually a full connection, and that's it. You just plug that in. You're not connecting that into a brick or to something else. It's also full metal design. I think I've mentioned that more than once. But there are a couple things missing from it. First, it's not weather sealed, so you can't take it out in the rain. There are lights that do that, but they cost a lot more money. So if you need one of those, well, this light isn't for you. This doesn't have a battery option. For that, you're going to need one of those that do have a brick that hangs off it. You can switch the brick out for something that can hold V-mount batteries. Yeah, that's not this light. Oh, and sadly, this doesn't come in a case. It comes in a cardboard box that is padded, but you're not going to want to carry it around in that. Now, NEEWER does sell an optional case for this, and I guess the argument is if you want a nice case, well, you can buy one, but we're not forcing you to buy one if all you're going to do is put it up in your studio and keep it there. And that kind of makes some sense. You might have noticed that I haven't given you a specific price for the light, the stand, or the softbox. And that's because every time I've gone onto NEEWER's website, well, there tends to be a sale. So just click on the link below and you can see the current prices. It's an affiliate link. I'll get a kickback if you buy something, but no pressure. But I do want you to know that if you do buy a NEEWER light, from the top end all the way to the bottom, you're going to get a good light. We've learned that today. And hey, if you're a filmmaker and you want to learn tips and tricks on how to become a better filmmaker, well, YouTube says you should watch that little video right over there. Yeah, it might help. Who knows? Hey, thanks for stopping by.